of the staff of CIDIS Consortia, besides Puerto Rico. I speak English and very well Espanol. Jim Kennedy and his talk, How to Secure a Windows Network Like a Boss. Jim is a career systems engineer, just like me, specializing in Microsoft and Cisco systems. He has spent the last 15 years in public education in a 12-building metropolitan campus with 6,000 students, users, and 900 staff users. Please give a warm Puerto Rico welcome to Mr. Jim Kennedy.
All right, thank you very much for having me. Jim Kennedy, contact information down here. Feel free to ping me on Twitter or Gmail anytime. I'll give you my opinion. I'm always happy to give you my opinion. Anything you need, I'll try and help point you in the right direction. For those of you that don't know, I'm David Kennedy's father. David Kennedy of Trusted Sec, DerbyCon, and Fox News. So you always see him on there with the big hacks. Fox calls him up and in he goes. That doesn't make me smart, just makes him smart. I started doing talks similar to this a couple of years ago because, quite frankly, I'm quite angry. I'm a blue teamer. I defend a network all day long from 6,000 hostile users. I'm doing fine. I'm not getting hacked. And every time I open up the news, somebody else is getting hacked. And I'm trying to figure out why. That's me back in the mid-'60s. I was raised believing that, or I was taught, that good, complete, basic coverage will protect you from anything. I grew up in Detroit and I'm ready for a hurricane. And there are no hurricanes in Detroit. The raincoat is useless without the hat because the rain is going to run down your head and get in. Security is the same way. You have to cover everything at a basic level to take care of your stuff. Stop worrying about the sexy hacks that are in the news. Take care of the basics. Michael Coates, Chief Security Officer for Twitter. Amazingly, he follows me. I have no idea why. Too often, companies over-focus on the extreme vulnerabilities because they're in the news. You hear about the big hack on Twitter or in the newspaper and how they're banging stuff down, and right away you start focusing on what happened. David Kennedy, my son, said the same thing, roughly around the same time. Focusing on the advanced threats is why we're here today. The lack of focus on basics has shattered our security posture. You look at a hack from beginning to end, and we're about to do that here in a second. Oh, back up. This is my first rant. I have 2 rants in this talk. I apologize in advance. I had to redo the whole beginning of my talk about a week and a half ago. This is a big hospital in Cleveland where I'm from. And this is the headline. Metro Health reports a data breach because of malware. No, malware did not cause a data breach. An IT department that sucks caused a data breach. All right? If malware is getting on a computer system in the heart clinic where patient records are stored, the IT department sucks. Hacks are like Mortal Kombat. Mimikatz at the end, passing the hash at the end. You know, doing stuff like that is the finishing move in Mortal Kombat, where you get to do your fancy little gizmos and hit all your buttons and all your controllers and everything and fly through the air and finish the guy. Mimikatz isn't the issue here. It's all the little strikes and all the little hits that happen before you get to this point that got you hacked. It's the little kicks, it's the little punches, it's the little mistakes you make that let that hacker get into one of your desktops and onto one of your systems, and then use that system as a pivot point to hit the important data. And if you go back to this, that's what happened. There wasn't malware on a server that houses the patient data. It was malware on somebody's desktop, and that desktop had too much access to that server. So don't worry about Mimikatz. Don't worry about passing the hash. And I'll show you why in a second, why Mimikatz is nothing. I laugh in its face. A little bit about my environment so you understand I'm not just dealing with a handful of computers here and I understand complicated systems. I've got 14 buildings scattered across the city. Fiber between all of them, it's all gig. We're primarily a Microsoft house, Cisco and Microsoft, which is good and bad. 68,000 users total, roughly. 900 staff, and I've got 6,000 kids. 40 or so servers on any given day. We are a full BYOD. Students bring their own devices, and that's a serious thing to start thinking about. Students bringing their own devices that they have full admin rights on. That gets exciting. We're going to talk about that. Every day, our teachers hit a classroom, and they're doing basically what I'm doing here today. We've got interactive media connected to the net. They're pulling stuff from Netflix. They're pulling it from YouTube. They're pulling it from. They're doing distance learning with universities across the world. Technology is hardcore in our classrooms. We have interactive smartboards on everything. We're sharing stuff between each other. Full Microsoft house, full Google Apps house. They're doing all that stuff. If our technology doesn't work each day, we are out of business. Now, we're not a hospital. People don't die. But teaching children is just as important to us as it is to hospitals to keep their patients alive. That's what we exist for. That's what we do. So our technology fails and gets hacked and gets muddied up with malware. We fail. And then I got 6,000 students whose primary goal in life is to download porn. And they want to update their phones on my network. You know, they want to update their Android phones. They want to pull down the new iOSs. You know, they want to download music. I guarantee you, music and porn is like right about. They're like, it's, you know, what day of the week is it? Which are they more focused on? They want to play Mortal Kombat, right? They want to download games, and you know what? They want to hack my stuff. They want to get to their grade books. They want to get to their attendance records. They want to get to the answers to tomorrow's geography test. They want all of that stuff. They're banging my stuff all the time. I have tagged kids installing keyloggers on teacher machines. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. Look at all of you. You guys are all good, solid computer people, hackers and whatnot. You were in high school. Don't sit there and lie to me. You were banging on stuff all day long. Right? I know that. Right? So, my hackers are already on my network with domain creds. They're just regular users, but they've got creds already. They've already made that first step. They've got that pivot point. It's an exciting world. So what do you got to do? The most important part is you got to look in the mirror, take a good look at yourself, and take step one. And that is to realize that security is your responsibility. As I go around and talk to people, I hear this. So please, nobody raise your hand at the end of my talk and say, but my company doesn't care about security. You know what? When the financial guy in your company is sitting in a meeting with you and they start talking about the IRS laws and the tax laws they have to follow, do you care? No, you don't. So don't be so arrogant to think that they care about your security issues. Your company hired you to run an IT department, to make it work, and make it secure. The person that cares about that is you. So you take that to heart, you do your job, and you got two things you got to do. It's got to work, and it's got to be secure. And you can do both. If I'm doing both in my environment, which is a free-flowing education environment, everybody going in a million different directions, it can be done anywhere, almost anywhere. So what do you got to do first? Get credibility with your organization. They have to believe that you can secure your environment and not blow their stuff up. They just want their stuff to work. That's all the financial department is worried about. They want their computer to work so they can file the taxes. Your job is to make it secure without getting in their way. It's very doable. So what do you do to get credibility? In my case, I'm golden. My kid's all over Fox News. All right, he's famous. I just send out the links to whatever he's doing, and you know, I got instant credibility. So get married, get a date, get married, and have a kid, and you're good. All right. In the meantime, go to cons like you are today. The next time, get up here. You guys have got something to offer. Just get up here and do it. Talk about what you're doing. Share your ideas. And then when they put that video on YouTube, send it to all the important people in your organization. Talk up what you do that's non-intrusive. Before you start getting in their way, start talking about the security you're doing that they never know about. 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, I'm patching Microsoft servers. I sent an email out at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning telling them I'm finished patching the Microsoft servers. They know what I'm doing and they know I'm not blowing up their day. Compromise. Don't just do security because somebody said it's a good idea. Think it through. I'll give you an example. I do not enforce frequent password changes on my users. And we can debate that all day long, and we're not going to. There's two good sides to that debate. I don't believe it does you a whole heck of a lot of good, so I don't do that to them. I don't annoy them with frequent password changes. And keep your stuff working. And look at this. This is the most important slide I'm going to give you today. Get your credibility going. It's all about you. Once you are believed and supported, you can do whatever you want. Step 2, next. Stop buying stuff. You're not going to buy security. I'm going to get you very, very secure today, very, very quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of your money. Because I don't have any. I'm a school district. I know what the public schools are going through down here. It ain't no better on the other side of the Caribbean. Stick with what you know. That's why I'm a Microsoft and a Cisco house primarily. Not because I think Macs suck, they don't. Not because I think Linux sucks, because it doesn't. I don't know that well. I'm solid in Microsoft, I'm solid in Cisco, so that's where I stay focused. There are listservs out here. This one's really important, right here. Patchmanagement.org. Grab this one, join it. We're going to talk about patching in a couple of minutes, but you can greatly accelerate your Microsoft patching system simply by getting on this list, because there's crazy people out there like me on this list like me that patch almost instantly. I'll tell you what I blow up, and you can avoid it. A lot of good stuff like that. Get on Twitter, get on SecurityCons, HackerCon, yes, go to DerbyCon. All right? This is what got me going where I'm at now 12 years ago. I got an audit. I hired my kid's company to come in and rip me to shreds. And in my environment, that's really cool because we get a report back. We're in a public environment. That's a public document. I can prove to the world that everybody in my organization knew we sucked at security because that document is easily producible just by public records request. It gave me a ton of power. It hurt. It wasn't fun. But watch the red team, too. Watch the hacks. Take a look at how they're hacking, which is what we're going to do now. This is a Katie Couric show from about 1.5 years ago. Young girl, she was Miss Teen USA. She got her laptop hacked. The bad guy turned her camera on, got lots of bad pictures of her, and blackmailed the hell out of her. It was a sad, sad situation. So Katie Couric got some security expert guy to come in and take a shot at a member
That
of
is
our
here.
audience.
She has 2 teenage daughters. She lives in Connecticut. And Stephanie, I understand that you believe your computer is unhackable. Why?
Well, it's something that's really on my mind. I'm very concerned about it. I feel like all of my antivirus software is up to date. I've taken a lot of precautions. I have a computer consultant who comes into my home to check on these things. And so I really feel strongly that we have done everything possible to try and protect myself and my daughters. I mean, it's something that's really worrisome for me.
Well, that's very impressive because you seem like you're extremely ahead of the curve. So we decided to put David to the test to see if your comfort level with your security is actually warranted. Tell us what happened. How did you do when we gave you the challenge of hacking into Stephanie's computer?
So, Stephanie, I would say, was actually one of the top 5% of what I would say is being most secure. Everything up to date, really locked down, all of those good things. And so I literally had opened my computer up, and less than 10 minutes or so had a fully designed website that looked real in every way, shape, or form of a website that you would visit every single day. And I sent an email out, and as soon as I sent the email out, it looks very believable in every way. She clicked a link, and then from there, again, less than 10 minutes of setup time and hacking and all that stuff, I had full access to her computer, her webcam, got around all of her antivirus, everything completely.
Wow. So tell us
Oh my gosh.
that you were able to see.
Well, the first thing we did is we enabled her.
Oh my God, that's my...
We enabled her webcam, and we were actually able to monitor everything that was going on in her house. Everything from her daughter working on her computer to Stephanie actually walking through the house itself. We actually enabled the audio as well, so we could actually hear everything that was going on at the same time, so we can listen to conversations. From there, we started looking at a lot of different areas around her computer. Started scraping everything on her computer so you can see what she's looking at on the internet. Basically everything that we would hold sensitive to ourselves are things that we were able to actually monitor. And one of the things we actually went and grabbed was when she was sitting there viewing her email, or we're monitoring her email addresses. We found her pictures for her Christmas cards for this year. Anything that you do on your computer, attackers can have access to, full access to everything.
right, so let's go through what he did to her, step by step, real quick, and let's fix it, one step at a time. First thing he said was she clicked the link, so we all know what she did, what he did. He popped up, I know this obviously, because I was sitting in the living room with him watching. He popped up a web server, he used SET, the social engineering toolkit, he cloned FedEx, he bought a domain for $10, and he fired the email at her and said her package was late. And she was a Connecticut housewife, I'm sure she has lots of stuff being shipped in all day long. And she clicked on the link. That was the first failure of her defenses. And that is going to be one of the first failures of any of our defenses, when they click on shit. They just click on stuff all the time. And we did it for decades. Click here, click there, and now we're going to say, wait, no, don't click there? They don't get that. We've got to stop them from clicking there when it's not good. So she clicked, he popped the reverse shell. We'll get to that in a second. So let's start with stopping the clicks. This is my favorite tool in my arsenal, a web filter. I'm lucky, I'm required by law to have a web filter to protect the kids from all the porn they're trying to surf all day long. And then what they do, they just get out their phones, use their Verizon connection, and get all the porn they want. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but that's what happens. What happened with David's hack when he went after this woman was, I said, he bought a new domain. Brand new domain that no web filter had ever heard of before. All right? Web filters in their basic sense are, they have three decisions to make. Is it good? Is it bad? Or is it unknown? Have I never heard of it before? Can you let your users go to a website that your filter has never heard of before?
Shouldn't.
Of course not. But you got to buy a good web filter if you're going to do that. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, but it's got to be a good one. Unknowns are difficult. So anything that's unknown, you block it. This one up here, classsettlement.com. Very high up guy in my organization, doctorate of education. He is not stupid by any stretch of imagination. Very smart man. He got a fax that said we were going to have free money from fax spam. And he had to type this into his computer and go to it. And put in his username and password to get signed up for the class action lawsuit. Total fish. I'll save that story for another day. I stopped him. He picked up the phone and called me and chewed my ass out over the phone because he couldn't get all this money for the school district. Took a while. I proved to him it was just a scam. But this one saved us. Big guy in our organization is about to give up his password and username. Pick your filter carefully. Like I said, good, bad, and unknown. They're all good with good and bad. They all trade that information back and forth, just like the antivirus companies do. It's the unknowns that are important. If you're going to test a web filter, focus on what percentage of the internet it blocks as an unknown. It's got to be a small percentage of the internet. You got to watch that very carefully. There's only a couple out there I've seen that do that. Barracuda is very good at it. iBoss is very good at it. And the others kind of suck at it. When you do look, you got to watch how it handles IP addresses. There's a lot of connections going out by IP. Those have to be known. And watch the content filters. Watch the Akamai servers and stuff like that. M86. I hate to badmouth anybody, but I threw them out of the building because they couldn't handle content servers. They classified them all as unknown. I mean, you do content servers as unknown. That's it. You're done. You're blowing up Yahoo. You're blowing up everything. All right. Next, he popped a shell on her. It was a Java shell. She was late on her Java. She lied to us when she said all of her stuff was up to date. Okay, we knew that. I get that everything works and then you patch and everything breaks. Go back to patchmanagement.org where we're all hanging out, like-minded people like me that are on rapid release cycles. We'll tell you what's going to break. And you can live with it. You can do some advanced testing on your stuff. Do a good scheduled rollout. Tuesday night on Patch Tuesday, I update my computer at home. If it still works, I go to work and I update my whole department. At the end of the day, if everything's still working, I hit 100 users in the building I'm in. And I just step up. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm watching the mailing list, the email list at patchmanagement.org and seeing what else is blowing up. The other thing I'm doing is I'm watching my Twitter feed. Because everything that's happening, I'm parroting on my Twitter feed. I'm telling you what's blowing up, what patches are blowing up. We're all feeding that information out really, really fast. So if you want to get into that flow of that information, you can really accelerate what you're doing.
Including servers?
Including servers. By Sunday night after Patch Tuesday, all of my servers are done. And by Monday morning, I've released everything to my entire domain on my desktops. I go faster with my servers than I do with my desktops. Because I know that on Saturday and Sunday we're not open. If I got to come back and roll back, That's my job. I'll come out on Saturday morning and I'll roll back. I've only had to roll back once in about the last 4 years on a server. I mean, things have just gone really well for us. There's been some issues on the desktop, and that's why I'm going slower now on the desktops. But servers have been rock solid for us. I have not had issues. So, that's your Java. We're going to talk now. My second rant is a little later on about Java. We'll talk about that. These are the top 10 exploited, and that's an important word there. These are the exploits that were actually done in 2014 for Microsoft. These are the ones that people were hit with, all right? 2006, what the hell? Why are you not patched for something that happened in 2006? Why are the red teamers having parties for MSO 867? They bought a birthday cake at DerbyCon 2 years ago because it was 10 years old. Even if you look down here, the number 10 one, that's a 2012 CVE. MS13008 patched it. That means it was the 8th patch of 2013. That was a January Tuesday patch in 2013. And people are still banging it a year later in 2014. Patch your stuff. Patch your stuff. Jump on the fast deployment. Nessus was Carlos. All right? I work in a poor school district. I have enough credibility. I did step one in my beginning of my slides. I have enough credibility to get a lousy $1,000 a year for a Nessus subscription. That's all it is, $1,000 a year. Drop it on you. It's right there on that laptop. And I just run around and run. I bang my servers with Nessus once a month, and I bang every subnet in all my buildings once a quarter. I mean, you just click and go, and I go drink coffee and eat donuts until it's done, and I read the report. It's not hard work. And then whatever it finds, I patch. This is not hard work. Keeping your stuff patched and secure is not hard work. It just requires a passion for it. You got to be happy at the end of the day when your stuff's patched. It's not sexy, but it's cool because you should look at it. All right? He said, got around all our antivirus. David did. How did he do that? Here I am on my machine. I can't stop Windows Defender. We'll talk about AV later. Okay, yeah, I only use Windows Defender on my network because it's free and it's less useless than anything else. Access is denied. Why can't I stop AV? Because I'm not an admin on my own machine. I took away admin rights from when I went, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I started working at the school district. I went in on my first day. I had 3 heart attacks in one day. First, I found out what they were using for passwords for the staff. Last 4 digits of the Social Security number. And they were in a file folder in the IT office, not locked up. Because they didn't want the IT office locked because they wanted an open flow of people coming in and out to tell you what to do next. All right, so that was heart attack number 1. So I got back at lunchtime from the hospital, and I saw that staff had admin rights on every machine in the district. So it wasn't just admin rights on their machine, but I had admin rights on your machine. And the president of the teachers union had admin rights on the superintendent's machine. I was like, holy cow. So that took me to about 3. And then I realized that the students had the same rights. Yeah. And then I came in the next day, and a lot of web filters have a bypass password. So you get stopped, you can put in a password that bypasses so you can click on shit. The teachers were putting the password on the chalkboard so the students could bypass the filter. So my first few years were exciting. I got rid of admin rights. You have to get rid of admin rights. 98% of all Microsoft vulnerabilities are gone if you take away admin rights. So if you suck at patching, you can still be good by taking away admin rights. It just works. Take it away. We're going to talk about how to do it right. Look at this. Remote code execution. Popping remote shells in Internet Explorer. There were 258 or 262 of them in 2014. 250 of them are mitigated by no admin rights. IE isn't insecure. The IT guys that give admin rights to users with IE are insecure. The stuff is just not that simple. All right, making no admin rights work. I get it. I work in an educational environment, and every teacher teaches differently. Every student teaches different, or learns differently. And that's what I've been told. I'm told that every day. So they got to install stuff like, we got to install it right now. No. All right? You need an IT department that is responsive, just doing their job. And you know, if you take away admin rights, you won't be running around uninstalling malware all the time anymore. And you can install software, help them test it. You can teach them how to use it. You can help them use their stuff. One of the biggest banks in the U.S., bank in the U.S., there's two key words in there, has 250,000 users scattered across the country, call centers all over the place, data centers all over the place. Nobody has admin rights. If that big and that dynamic of an organization can do it, we all can do it.
You mean regular users or even the IT?
IT staff, of course, IT staff have, yes. Separate account, never what you log in with.
Correct.
So get creative, start thinking about things to do. I learned very quickly that all the teachers want the same software. So all I had to do is figure out how to get that software installed universally for everybody else. Start using AppSense, start using System Center. Cooler program from a company called Wingsoft. It's an encrypted shortcut that you do a run as, so you can create a domain, an admin account, bang the software up into a server share, and the user just clicks the shortcut. It's encrypted with an elevated prompt, and bam, it goes. Really cool stuff. AppSense gets expensive, but boy, does it work. Right? Get creative in solutions. Quick example here. Obviously I have students that are learning to program and stuff like that in high school. They need Python, they need internet connectivity on this machine, and you know what, they do need local admin rights to do what they're doing. But think about it, do I want somebody with local admin rights on my domain with Python? Because they're going to go to my kid's website at TrustedSec and download Metasploit modules with Python, or they'll run through Python. So what do? Simple. Just think a little. Think about solving the problem for the user. Your job isn't to say no, your user is to say yes, this is how I'm going to do it for you. So say yes. I made them do a boot. They boot in the domain of Microsoft or the word processing classes or the PowerPoint classes or whatever, or they boot into Python, bought little USB wireless cards, and those, when they boot into Python, they can't, the NICs, the regular network NIC is disabled, local user account only. The wireless card hits my guest wireless and goes straight out to the internet. So they can get to their Google App accounts, get their documents, get their stuff, do their research, whatever they need to do. Everything works for everybody. So get creative. Think about solutions and how you can do stuff for people. Don't go in tomorrow morning or Monday morning and take away admin rights from your whole organization. It'll be bad. Find a company. I like finance because they're big on rules. They understand rules, they understand security. So this might be somebody you might be able to work with, usually a smaller department. Take away their admin rights and camp in the hall outside their office. Take your laptop, get yourself a chair, and just sit out there. And if they have any problems for the first few weeks, you're right outside their door. You jump on it and you fix it. And you'll learn what's going on. You learn what to do for the next department. And you've got somebody that went through it that can be your ally. Go slow. Right after I did it to our treasurer, who was the head of our finance department, he called me, chewed me out. I got this update from our bank. I have to run this right away because payroll's tomorrow. I'm like, cool. We had a deal. If I took away your admin rights, I was going to take care of you. I'll be right there. I go up. It's a total fish. It was a keylogger fish that had been sent to every treasurer for every school district in the state of Ohio at the same instant. Total targeted fish to capture banking credentials. We carry about $100 million in the bank. I mean, we're a pretty good target at the beginning of the year. He couldn't get it going because he didn't have admin rights. Other districts had admin rights, it didn't go so well for them. All right? Now you got cred. Now you got the head of finance, who's the number 2 in my organization, saying, Jim's new plan just saved us $100 million. Right? Step 1, credibility. They're going to do it sooner or later. You're going to stop them from doing something silly. Step 1, achievement unlocked. Right? The guy who's in charge of the money is on your side. You just saved him from jail or getting fired or something. Speaking of local admin, new one from Microsoft. Grab this puppy. 306-2591. Microsoft finally has a good, usable local password management system. It's a quick schema update. It adds an attribute to the computer object, generates the password for you, puts it in that attribute for the computer object in AD. You control access to that attribute with ACLs, right? and then it updates the password on the local machine for you. When the password expires, it redoes that whole thing for you. So now your help desk people just need access to that attribute on the computer object in AD. They can grab the password, they got a local admin, and you can have a different password randomly generated for every computer in your organization. Way cool. This is cool. All right, so we took away admin rights a few slides away. Now we're going to really drill down and take it to the next level. App Locker. I mean, it surprises me how many people, I just love App Locker, I get all excited. It's free, it's in Microsoft, and it's genius. It just absolutely works. Let's look at what happens here. This is, story of my life, too short. This is the default rules for App Locker. So let's think about what happens when you turn App Locker on. Everyone can execute in a program files folder, right? Everyone can execute in the Windows folder. They need to be able to do that. Built-in admins can execute whatever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. We took away admin rights from everybody except for the IT department. So we're okay there. Now let's think about that disk. Let's think about these folders. What's special about the program folders for a regular user? No write. They cannot write to program files. The program files folder. Say that 10 times faster than up here. The only place they can really write on a C drive with any regularity is app data, right? They're in their own profile. Isn't that where you find all the viruses? Isn't that where you find all the malware? They cannot write the malware and viruses to the programs folder because they don't have write privileges. Based on this rule set, they can't execute anything in app data. They can't execute anything in their personal profile. You just killed the hell out of all the malware and all the viruses by doing that. Is that coming together for everybody? Does everybody see the beauty of that? I mean, that's just, I was like, holy smokes. Now, there is one thing you gotta watch here. You're gonna have to fine tune this second rule. There are some, like log folders and stuff like that, there are some folders in Windows where regular users do have write privileges. So you wanna put an explicit deny on those. There's about 6 of them. You have no trouble finding them. And then you're done. I mean, this gets you there. You know, now, my rules are a little bit more complicated. I've added a section of rules to allow them to execute from certain locations in my servers. I was talking about those encrypted programs to do installs for them and everything. I allow those areas on the network. You can do server pass here, whack server name, and you're good. You're good. This was a no-brainer. I turned this on one day on the whole district just for grins on a Friday afternoon to see what was going to happen. The phone never rang. It created very few problems. Very few problems. Oh, the other arrow. All right. So that's the big 3 on the desktop level. Good web filter. 4, patch, app locker, and no admin. I don't, and so I'm going to jump ahead. I don't run any AV other than Windows Defender because it comes with Windows. When you do this with no admin, there just aren't any viruses or malwares left to worry about anymore because they're all going to the user profile, and even if it does get somewhere, they don't have an executability on any of those other paths. It's just rock solid. All right, so let's take a look at some of our outside systems. You know, we all have millions of extra systems. Take some time, document and define everything you have. Write it down. Start building a gigantic spreadsheet, however you want to build it. Document your software. In a second here, we're going to document your traffic. Look at your traffic and how it flows between your users and your servers. And then document the access to your servers. Who's really got to get this stuff? Who really needs it? We're going to fix a lot of that stuff in a second. Look at your servers and what they're doing. You need to read your logs. You got to turn them up. Access successes and failures. Find out what they're trying to do with the failures that you're already stopping. I'll give you a real peek into the future where they're coming next. Filter logs. I love looking at what I'm blocking in my filters because that gives me some big clues as to what my kids are trying to do, what they're looking for, what kind of research they're doing. All right, so going back to documenting. Security Onion. You guys familiar with Security Onion?
Yeah.
All right, Google it, download it, and install it. It's a Linux distro. I know I said I stay away from stuff I don't know about, but this is so easy, even a Windows admin can do it, all right? It's a straight downloadable distro. You boot your box, you install it, you do a little configuration on a switch so you've got some port traffic mirroring going on, and it does full packet capture of all the traffic that passes across the ports that you mirror. So what I do is I have one trunk coming into my server racks, into my server room. I mirror that trunk to another port that security onion monitors. It grabs every packet in and out. Every packet. It's a lot of packets, and yeah, you gotta buy some disks. I get that, but disks are cheap, right? They tell me. It does IDS, it does all the packet capture. When you get an IDS alert, you can trigger on that alert and you can reconstruct all the packets to and from the server that were with that alert and see the real transaction. Like I said, 30 minutes from downloading this sucker, you boot your box, it installs, and it's done. It's just amazing. Doug Burks is who runs this. And it's really just a collection of all the things you Linux guys already knew about that us Windows guys never heard about, right? Snorby, Elsa, you know, they're all just the usual stuff. So let's take a look. Here's a Snorby alert. One of these I picked, yeah. Here, it was a NetBIOS share access. Oh, here we go. What's one right here? Yeah, it was one of these. You just click it, pull it up, pull the SIG ID, right? Roll into SIG, here, or how you pronounce that. The way these Linux guys call these names is just crazy. I searched for that event, and then right-clicked it and told it to reconstruct the conversation. All right. So this was an EXE off of the server is what it did. The IDS triggered on an EXE being run across the network. That was the original alert. Is it good? Is it bad? That's what you got to figure out. So I drilled down into it here in about 2 minutes without even knowing what I'm doing. And right away I see the server name and the share name, right? There's the SMB packet. That server is where I house those programs I was talking about that I let them run across the network. So it's a false positive. But in a span of 30 seconds, I've drilled all the way into it. I know exactly what it's doing. I go back and tell it to ignore that in the future. Right-click and classify it, and it's done, right? And in no time at all, you're fine. Fine. Nice, full, free IDS with full packet capture. Full packet capture is just amazing. All right, let's harden up some servers. Emmet. I jumped on Emmet when it first came out. It was like, you know, party time. That was even better than AppLocker as far as the party. They're up to 5.2 now. It's rock solid. It works very, very well. And it looks at, you know, depth and those kinds of crazy things that happen on remote code execution and just kills it to death. It works very, very well. I do this every year when I give this talk at DerbyCon because I got 600 red teamers in the room winging the coals at me. I ask them to raise their hand how many servers they've popped that are running Emmet. You'll get a David Kennedy or a Carlos Perez or Martin Bros, those kinds of high-level, seriously good people that will raise their hand. Nobody else is raising their hand. All right, Emmet really is rock solid. It causes no problems. I roll it on all my desktops, never have any issues. You know, there are some proof of concept bypasses. I've only seen any of the real bypasses out in the wild on one instant. I haven't seen it anywhere widespread. It's still good stuff. You know, everybody's got a firewall between themselves and the internet. Go back and think, I got 6,000 kids on the inside with threads. I've got firewalls between my servers and my users. And you go back to that full packet capture I was doing with my IDS and looking at the traffic flow and documenting all that. We have a cash register system where kids buy their lunch, and that's all their account balances and everything is all housed with POS system, point of sale system. That's not POS, point of sale. The students' computers have no need to go to the cash registers or the SQL server that houses all their information. That's a deny from their VLAN, right? Students are on their own VLAN, denied on the firewall. Knock it down. Get rid of the pivot points. Take a good long look at that. You can do a lot of that internally. So I built all my servers with this kind of segmentation in mind, right? Control that with my ASA between them and all on VLANs. 2008 firewall, turn it on. Turn it on when you first roll the server up. As you install software, Windows sees that happening 99 times out of 100, it makes the adjustments to the firewall. You install SQL on a 2008 server, The server sees that happening, it opens the ports up for you. You don't have to screw around with it. It's an extra free layer. Here's a controversial one now. I do have it in bold. Consider taking servers out of the domain that don't need to be in the domain. Go back to the Target hack. Outside vendor clicked on something he wasn't supposed to, got infected, then he logged into Target's HVAC server and did some work on it, while the bad guys keylogged him. They then used his credentials to get into the HVAC system at Target. And then they pivoted from the HVAC system into, eventually, the point-of-sale system. That's basically how that attack went down. Why is the HVAC system ever able to talk to anything remotely related to the point-of-sale system? Take it out of the domain, no creds, and kill the packets, period. I have an HVAC system that controls 14 buildings, and Honeywell runs it for us. It's on its own VLAN throughout the entire city, throughout all 14 things. It goes out to the internet on the guest network, so Honeywell can get to it, and that's it. It's got no ability to talk to anything else. And it's the way it should be. Patch your stuff and watch your third-party software. 10, 11 years ago when David came in and ripped me to shreds, he got me on Veritas. I did not have my Veritas up to date. On the agent on my servers, he tagged local admin on every server. So, desktop hardening. No local admin, we talked about that. I'm going to hammer that to death, do it. Obviously, you can take care of that very easily with restricted groups and group policies. Just rip everybody out. Emmett 5.2 on all the desktops.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. Emmett 5.2 on the desktops, no issues, and I got a lot of crazy software. Remote desktop services for Windows. Going back to my finance department, my favorite people. I built a remote desktop system for them that is just theirs. It has its own internet policy, its own firewall rules going out. It can only go to our banks, our state agencies that they have to report to. It can only go to our retirement system. It can't go to CNN or FedEx or anything other than the systems they need that we have that have confidential data. And then conversely, their desktops can't go to any of those places. So that's it. They open up a remote desktop internally. This is all internal. They internally hop on a remote desktop, transfer our $100 million around, however they do it, and it's much, much safer level. Firewalls are on my desktops. Event logging, we actually look at that. UAC, come on, leave it on. Quit being lazy, leave it on. Auto run is off, software restrictions, app blockers, lots more. Control panel. My users open up their control panel. All they can really get to is like screen resolution and printers, and that's about it. They don't need to get to any of that other stuff. And think about that for a second, right? Why would I let a student get to the bat file, or run VBS in user context, or get to PowerShell? Right? Why would you allow that? You don't. They don't need to. If there's a PowerShell class, then I'll go to dual boot, I'll take them out of the domain, and I'll put them in my guest network. Hide system drives, control IE through group policies. Dig into group policies. There's a boatload of solid group policy stuff from Microsoft now. And you can really, really make a desktop Yanks. All right, back to AV just for a quick second. I don't have any AV other than Windows Defender, and it's just easier to leave it on than it is to turn it off, and that's the only reason it's running. Doesn't do any good. We don't have malware, we don't have AV. No admin, app blocker. And if you get an AV alert, do you trust that machine anywhere? Even if it says it stopped it, do you trust it? No, you're going to flatten it anyway. All right, rant number 2. Java. Java sucks. Oracle sucks. All right? Lots of things suck, but nothing sucks like Java. Emmett will take care of a great deal of the Java exploits. Run it. It's a great, great helper for that. Think about egress filtering. When David hacked that woman in Connecticut, he still had to come back, and if you look at his shell, he came back on 20 and 21. You're not going to get out of my network on 20 and 21. My users only get out of my network on 80 and 443. Narrow the window of opportunity. All right? Now let's think about what happens when they go out on 80 and 443. What's looking at 80 and 443 on my network? My kick-ass web filter. And they've never heard of David's basement, right? They don't know where that IP address is. They don't know where that's from. It's going to come as an unknown. It's going to kill it. Ponder that. I should mention, my web filter is also an application filter. So it looks at the application layer on all those ports. That's why that's happened. 2013, 91% of all things were Java-based. All right, Java sucks. We've established that. You can do something about that. It can happen. We're actually right on the money. You can do something about that. I gave a very similar talk like this to other school districts in Ohio at a big school convention. And out there were the vendors, they were filling up the whole convention hall. There were hundreds of vendors there. Cisco's there, HP's there. And there's a company there called Pearson. Are you guys doing, you guys get sucked into the testing from the federal government here? You have to test your kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys are all in on that crap too? Yeah.
Don't leave any child behind, something like that.
Yes, yes. Okay, Pearson is the company that made the pile of crap called Park. Okay? They also make a program called Power School. Power School is the software that almost every school district in Ohio uses. It's your permanent record. Your attendance is in there, your grades are in there, your medical, your discipline, everything. And we all use the same one so we can shove the information to different schools as students come and go. So the student transfers, we pass their permanent record on to the next district. Pearson makes that also. They were in the convention hall talking. And they use Java. It's Java-based. And this was perfect timing. It was about 45 days after Java had just come out with an update that killed their software. So we updated Java. We had to roll back because their crap software would not take that particular Java update. We've all been there. ADP does it every month, right? We're always behind if you're using ADP for payroll. So I got everybody all fired up. And we got up after my talk. And we all marched down the hall into the convention center to the booth. And we unleashed nerd rage on the sales droids in the booth in the middle of the convention hall. We made a hell of a scene. And fixing a Java application is easy. Grab the application, take whatever version of Java you want, and package it into a jar, and drop it on the user's hard drive, and you're done. And it worked, and it's an advantage for the company too. They're now version proof on Java. They never have to worry about the next version coming up. Once they get this done, they're done, right? And you're safe because that old version of Java can only be called by that program. It's no longer an add remove program, so the hackers can't call it through Internet Explorer. They're totally bulletproof. So we screamed at them, and within 6 months we had their program repackaged into a jar file. We dropped it on our users' computers, and now we can roll new Java updates like that, because we're not stupid enough to use ADP for payroll. Does Oracle own ADP? I mean, so you can have an impact. Remember, you are the folks writing the check to the vendor that's giving you crap Java software. Right? You have some power there. I realize that they're proprietary software, just like our student information system is, and you can't just pitch them. You know, we could never just walk away from them. But you have some leverage. You have credibility with your staff now in step one. Use that credibility and your leverage and drop a hammer on your vendors. There's no excuse for this. No excuse for this. All right, that's it. My last point. B. What's on the next slide? BYOD. Okay. So you want to see somebody get excited. Tell an educator they can get all the people are going to bring in free computers and you don't have to buy them anymore. Right? Oh, that's great. So we saw that coming. So we developed our BYOD program. It's pretty slick. Right? Guest wireless, straight out to the internet. Throw up Google Apps, or throw up Office 365. Bam, you're done. Let them go. And you can move the stuff back and forth between 365 or Google Apps. It's not that hard, actually. Just don't try and bring it all in. We control our stuff, our district-owned tablets, with a program called Meraki. Meraki rocks. Take a look at it. It's not on my article. Another one, Tab Pilot, for pushing apps and stuff to your own devices. Works very, very well. I'm just speeding up. All right, I'm going to go back real quick because this one's huge. I was running my traffic, I'm running my VLANs, I've got that all documented, I understand what's going on now. I love Cisco. Do you guys know about Sticky Macs and Cisco? Is that like a secret? All right. If you go around, if you take your laptop or your computer, remember all these BYOD tablets that have got SET loaded on them and Metasploit loaded on them the kids are bringing in from home? If you plug one of those into my network on an open drop, first off, that drop is dead. If a drop isn't plugged in by the IT department, that drop is turned off. And you think about 14 buildings and the geography we cover, we got a lot of drops. It took us a year and a half to figure it all out and get it done, but we got it done. It's not that hard once you get it done. So one, kill the unused ports. Okay? Regular desktop techs can easily turn a port back on. It's not hard. You can teach somebody that in a split second. They're smart guys. They just haven't been taught about it. Two, Sticky Macs, where I have computers that are plugged in. In Cisco, if you turn on Sticky Macs, the first MAC address it associates with that port, the switch binds to that MAC address, and that's the only one it'll let in. Now you can let in 2 or 3 if you want, but obviously one here is the only one you want to let in. That's it. Even if the kid unplugs the teacher's computer and plugs his laptop in, that port switch, his MAC address stuck to the teacher's computer, he's going nowhere. All the internal wireless that connects to my servers is all protected by us. Nobody knows the passwords for any of those SSIDs except the IT department. Anybody who wants to connect connects to the guest wireless, and that's hard gapped out to the internet. Egress filtering, talked about that earlier. Okay, the big thing here is time. All right, you know, you get that audit up in the beginning, and get your and suck it up and take the hit to your ego. You can use that document to negotiate time from your boss. I get 1 day a week where I can tell my boss to fuck off. All right, unless the Exchange server is down, I absolutely have permission to throw him out of my office. Because Wednesday is security day. Why Wednesday? It's Patch Tuesday on Wednesday. That's when I get started. You know, that's when I start working on it. So I've got that day already ready there for me. And the rest of the time, I'm reading logs, I'm patching my switches, I'm looking at third-party software. You know, I'm reading the Twitterverse to see what's being hacked. I'm watching to see what the red team has done. You know, running my Nessus. You know, 1 day a week, once you get things reasonably locked down, so you're not chasing malware and IDS alerts all the time, it's very, very doable. This is not overnight. All right, question. First off, how many, and you guys all do know Dave, right? Or not? Most all of you know Dave? All right, so I've been tweeting for, I don't know, 3 months now, that there'll be new pictures of Dave. All right, it's just what I do whenever Dad gives a speech. He always embarrasses his kid, whether he's here or not. So let's start with questions first. Questions, comments, concerns?
What do you use to distribute patches? Patch distribution?
WSUS. I use WSUS for Microsoft-based stuff, and I skipped past that. Darn, what was that slide? For third-party stuff, I use, on the desktops, I use PDQ Deploy. $500 a year. When Java comes out, it's just instantly there. It has an admin account on all my desktops. I just target them, it shows Java. I target it, it shows Flash. It's very, very good, very, very reliable. And it's smart enough to, they pre-package all the proper switches for you and everything. 99% of the time, I don't have to touch it. You can make your own custom packages if you want, but 99% of the time, fire and forget.
Can EMET be run with an antivirus in the same computer?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can exclude different attacks or different vulnerabilities that Emmett looks for from specific programs. So I can exclude Chrome from depth, which actually is a good thing to do because those two don't get along. So you can get very granular on what you do, and you can push it all through group policy.
And why block the Explorer searches on desktops?
Explorer, not Internet Explorer. Explorer.
File Explorer.
File Explorer. Why?
Yeah.
Because they can search the network for them. I do that in students. The students are given their software. They're not out looking for software on the network. They're not installing software on the network. Just only staff do that. So I don't need students going whack cache register server and doing searches on that system. That's where that comes from.
Okay.
Good? Good? All right. So for those of you that, find my DerbyCon talk and you'll see where this comes from. It's just family tradition. I did promise below the waist. All right. One last thing that I also always do, 2 minutes, plenty of time. I imagine down here I have a lot of Catholics. Catholics help out the non-Catholics. About 3/4 of the way through a Catholic Mass, for those of you that have been one or are Catholic, you know we all get up and we shake each other's hands and we say, peace be with you. At a Derby Con and with David and then with my family, and we're always hugging is a big deal. So everybody up. We're all going to turn to the person near us and give them a hug.
Let me get on a video, 1
All right,
second.
hang on, wait. Right. We're all going to turn to the guy next to us and near us, give him a hug, and instead of peace be with you, it's going to be security be with you. Let's go.
Okay, let's give Mr. Kennedy a big hand here.